Well, we have time to talk to one more guest on this week's program of Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz, along with Michelle Grinnell. And Michelle, who will that final guest of the program be?
That will be our good friend Janet Korn, who is the Vice President of Marketing at Experience Grand Rapids. And Janet, welcome to the show. Let's just start out. We've been talking about hyping it a little bit, if you will, throughout the show. But Grand Rapids got an early Christmas present this year, being named Lonely Planet's #1 U.S. travel destination for 2014, beating out places like Yosemite, Boston, California. So first of all, congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about why you think that we got that accolade.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's very exciting news that we received this month, and we're looking forward to some new visitors checking out Grand Rapids and our lovely Lake Michigan Gold Coast during this next year. Help put this really beautiful place, an exciting place, on the bucket list for some potential visitors.
Well, it's not the first time recently that Grand Rapids has been recognized by a major publication or travel media site for being a great place to visit. Can you kind of tell us some of those other accolades that the Grand Rapids has gotten recently?
Well, we actually have many of them, from Great Place for Moms, Great Place to Raise Children, Great Place to Retire, one of the top 15 emerging downtowns. Last year, Art Prize was recognized by Time Magazine as one of the must-see top 5 events in the world, and the only one in the United States. Our nearby lakeshore beaches get recognized by publications and news outlets all the time as being really amazing, opportunities. So it's, I guess in some ways, maybe not surprising, but it's always really exciting when you land on a list.
And that's a big list to land on, and in the #1 spot.
It is, and, we've already reached out to our friends in Louisville because they were on that spot last year. And, they told us that they did really get a lot of inquiries and new visitors coming from places that may not have thought of traveling there before. So we're excited for a great 2014, and we've got some amazing events that are coming back to Grand Rapids this next year, but we also have some new things planned as well.
Well, I think one of the things that makes Grand Rapids such a great place to visit or to live and to work and such is that it's not exclusively an event place. And I mean, it's not just a place that's really known for events. It's just a great place to be any time of the year. The atmosphere, the attractions and such. Tell us about the Grand Rapids area and what people can look forward to when they visit.
Well, I think when we got recognized last year as one of the 15 emerging downtowns in the country, I think that sort of starts to set the stage for what there is to see and experience. That's not just an event. Those are things going on all the time. So in the winter months, we have ice skating downtown Grand Rapids. It's $2 for adults and $1 for children. We have 4 fabulous museums within walking distance of that skating area. We have Frederik Meijer Gardens and Sculpture Park, which is constantly expanding itself and has really things for everyone, from its summer concerts to its largest indoor horticultural conservancy in the state of Michigan, to over 130 pieces of sculpture sprinkled throughout their 130-acre sculpture garden. So there's so many things to do. We've got biking trails, we've got hiking trails, there's runs to participate in, and I may have forgotten to mention that we're Beer City USA 2 years running, and so that means we've got a kind of a really fun and exciting kind of nightlife and craft beer culture for people to experience here as well.
Well, Michelle would not have allowed you to forget that one.
No. I spend a lot of time exploring the craft beer scene in Grand Rapids myself.
Well, we are having a huge insurgence of visitors coming from out of town, specifically to have that experience as well. So you're not alone. And last year, Founders capped off a major expansion of both their production but also their public space. They have an amazing outdoor beer garden now, and it's fun in the winter months because there's a couple outdoor fireplaces, but it's also great fun in the summer. And, there's craft beers available for people to try in the tap room that never necessarily make it to there's some experimenting going on there, and they might not make it to your store shelves, so there is really a true reason to come to town and check it out.
You have this kind of cool Brews Hot Eats event. Is that actually like at a certain time, or is that kind of like promoting the entire community all the time?
I think the best answer would be both, because we've got cool brews and great food going on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an amazing selection of restaurant chefs and restaurants that are really embracing the farm to fork and the slow food, local food opportunities. But we specifically put together a promotion in mid-February. So just after Valentine's Day, it kicks off on February 17, and it lasts through the 1st of March. And we invite our food establishments, so the chefs in the area, to pair and produce their menu items with craft beer. And we encourage them to use some of our local products. So we call it Cool Brews and Hot Eats. And so we'll be collecting a list of restaurants that are participating. Last year was our first year, and we had 56 restaurants. And really kind of a really fun assortment of food items, everything from braised meats that include craft beer to even some of my favorites were the desserts that had craft beer. So imagine a float instead of root beer might have craft beer. And so there was some really fun new menu items to try, and it was really fun to try some new establishments that you might not have experienced before.
I will have to check that out. A beer float is on my foodie bucket list, I just want to say.
Yeah, how could it get any better than that?
I was a little skeptical, but I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Well, it's I heard about them putting bacon in beer, or at least the bacon taste in beer, and I thought the same thing. I don't even drink beer, and I liked it. So you never know. But you put bacon with anything, it's okay.
I was going to say, bacon is one of those key ingredients that I think has certainly over the last couple of years had a resurgence of its own, and so I'm very happy.
Well, the museum scene in Grand Rapids and the Grand Rapids area is pretty phenomenal, really, especially for a town the size of Grand Rapids. To think about the quality and number of museums is pretty outstanding. Let's talk about Frederik Meijer Gardens for a segment here, for a second.
Quickly.
Stop.
Now you've run out of time.
She's laughing at me, and she's making me nervous. So, let's talk about Frederik Meijer Gardens for a moment. The Japanese gardens are going in. This is going to be a really big deal for not only local visitors, but for international visitors as well.
Absolutely. And, I think 2014 will really be the growing year for the new Japanese garden. It will open to the public in 2015. So we have a little while longer to wait. But, I think it's going to be amazing when it's finished. So, if you there's plenty to see at the gardens this year, but certainly would want to make plans to visit in 2015 for that opening. Every other previous opening there has always, exceeded anyone's expectations.
They do it upright.
Well, too.
Yeah, and we should mention Laughfest, your big kind of late winter event, early spring, March 6th through 16th. A big deal with comedians, stand-up everywhere in town. And you can get tickets right now, for some tickets right now, right?
Yes, they have ticket packages on sale, and you can customize your own ticket package. So until January 10th, and that's when the single show tickets go on sale. So you'd want to put January 10 on your calendar if you have just one particular performance that you want to catch a ticket to.
Well, thank you, Janet. Janet Korn, VP of Marketing, Experience GR. And for more information, all you have to do is go to experiencegr.com. That's all the time we have for the program this week. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Scott Iannetta for engineering today's program. And we'll talk to you next week, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.